The planet Virelia had once been a shining example of peace and progress. Its towering cities gleamed under twin suns, and the streets were alive with the soft hum of energy vehicles and the laughter of its citizens. Virelians, slender beings with pale blue skin and luminous eyes, had devoted their lives to science, art, and the careful study of the universe. For centuries, they had expanded their knowledge without ever building armies. They had believed in diplomacy, negotiation, and understanding. Violence was something that existed only in the history books. But that world was changing fast. The Zilari had arrived without warning. Massive black warships, jagged and menacing, pierced the skies of Virelia like shadows come alive. Their presence brought fear not only because of their size but because of their efficiency. The Zilari attacked without hesitation, disabling the planet's communications and energy grids. Entire cities went dark as if someone had snuffed out the stars themselves. The Virelians tried to fight back, using defensive energy shields and automated drones. But their technology was meant for exploration, not war. One by one, their systems failed. In the capital city of Solara, high atop its central tower, Councillor Lyria watched the chaos below, with a heart heavy with fear. Reports came in from across the planet. Entire districts had fallen, citizens trapped in collapsing buildings, and the Xalari fleet expanding its control faster than anyone had imagined. Lyria's hands trembled slightly as she studied the latest holographic map, glowing with red flashes where enemy forces had advanced. "This cannot be happening," she whispered to herself. Her voice, soft and melodic, carried the weight of desperation. "We are supposed to be beyond war. We are supposed to be safe." Her assistant, a young Virelian named Terran, approached cautiously. His luminous eyes reflected the map's glow. "Counselor, the outer sectors are collapsing. We have no reinforcements. Our people, they are losing hope." Lyria nodded slowly, biting her lower lip. She had tried to reassure herself that surrender was an option, but the thought made her stomach twist. Virelians were proud of their independence, of their ability to protect their civilization with knowledge and wisdom. To surrender to the Zilari would be to abandon everything they had built. Meanwhile, in the northern city of Lysara, families huddled in the remains of their homes. The sky above them was filled with Zilari ships, their black hulls blotting out the sun. Children clung to their parents, their eyes wide with fear. Elderly citizens muttered prayers and chants, hoping that some unseen force would save them. But the truth was clear. No one had come. No one from the stars had arrived to help. The Virelians were alone. The despair on the planet was palpable. People whispered that their civilization might end in flames, that their knowledge, culture, and dreams could be erased forever. Even the scientists who had dedicated their lives to understanding the universe felt helpless. Machines that had once hummed with life now lay broken, scattered across ruined streets. Energy shields, once powerful and bright, flickered and died. Yet, amidst the darkness, there was a faint glimmer. In the outermost sector of the planet, beyond the reach of the Zilari's immediate control, a group of Virelian scouts reported something unusual. Strange ships had appeared on the edge of their sensors, fast, maneuverable, unlike anything they had seen. The ships carried no markings, no signs of their origin. Yet they moved with precision and confidence. Captain Rylon, leader of the scout team, stared at the readings in disbelief. "These ships, they are human," he said finally, almost in awe. Humans, a species from distant space, legendary for their adaptability and courage. Stories of human exploration and bravery were told in Virelian schools as examples of intelligence and resilience, but no one had ever expected to see them in person. "Humans?" his deputy asked, skeptical. "Are you certain?" "I am," Rylon replied, his voice steady. "Look at their maneuver patterns. They don't rely on our technology. They think on their own. They adapt quickly. They are not like the Xalari." The revelation caused a mixture of hope and fear among the scouts. If humans were truly here, perhaps they could help. But would they? Would these humans risk entering a planet already overrun by Xalari forces? Or were they just passing through, observing a doomed world? Back in Solara, Counselor Lyria received the same news through a secure line. Her heart skipped a beat. Could it be true? Could humans actually arrive to help them? She stared at the map, imagining these unknown beings swooping in, turning the tide of battle. The idea seemed almost impossible. Yet impossible had been all they had left to hope for. Night fell over Virelia, the sky dark except for the distant glow of Zelari ships. In the capital, citizens prayed quietly, hoping for a miracle. In Lysara, families huddled together, whispering stories of bravery and past heroes. Across the planet, a single thought bound all hearts together: survival. And then, as if answering that collective hope, the humans arrived. The first human ship descended from the edge of the atmosphere. Its silver hull reflected the twin suns, cutting through the darkness like a streak of light. Unlike the Zelari, it did not fire blindly or strike with aggression. Instead, it moved carefully, scanning the battlefield with sensors, assessing the situation. From the ground, the humans appeared almost ordinary at first glance. Their ships were smaller, faster, and seemingly fragile compared to the massive Zelari fleet. Yet there was an aura of confidence about them. A feeling that they were not afraid, that they had come for a purpose greater than fear or conquest. Rylon's squad watched with astonishment as more ships followed. They observed humans deploying small, unmanned craft to disable Zelari weapons. The humans worked in harmony, not chaos. Their technology was different, yes, but what impressed the scouts most was their creativity. Where the Virelians had relied on rigid plans and algorithms, the humans improvised, adapting to the unexpected with ease. Counselor Lyria felt a flicker of hope ignite in her chest. Perhaps this was the answer they had been waiting for. Perhaps these humans, these strangers from the stars, could give them a chance to survive. But even as hope returned, there was tension. The Virelians had never fought alongside another species. Would the humans understand their ways? Would they respect their culture? Could these two species, so different in origin and mindset, truly work together in the face of such overwhelming danger? The night passed slowly, the twin moons casting pale light over the battered cities. In the distance, the glow of human ships signaled that something was changing. For the first time in weeks, the Virelians felt that they were not entirely alone, and yet, the danger had not vanished. The Zelari still loomed, still pressed their advantage, still threatened to crush Virelia beneath their might. The humans were here, yes, but could their presence be enough to turn the tide? Could they save an entire planet on the brink of despair? As dawn approached, the first human landing parties touched the surface of Virelia. They moved with precision and calm, assessing the damage and speaking to the local leaders. Counselor Lyria met them personally, her eyes wide with curiosity and hope. The humans introduced themselves not as conquerors, but as allies. Their leader, a tall human named Commander Elias, spoke in measured tones, explaining their purpose. They had come to help, to fight alongside the Virelians, and to find solutions that neither species could achieve alone. For the first time in many days, Lyria felt a smile creep onto her face. There was still a long road ahead. The Zelari were powerful and relentless, and the planet had suffered greatly. But now, at least, there was a chance. Hope, fragile but real, had returned to Virelia. The edge of despair had not disappeared, but for the first time, it no longer seemed absolute. And thus, the stage was set for an alliance that could change the course of the galaxy. The morning sun rose over Virelia, casting pale gold light over the battered cities. The Zelari fleet had not slowed, still pressing their advantage. But now, the skies carried a new presence. Human ships gliding in formation, moving with purpose and precision. The people of Virelia, still shaken by weeks of fear, watched from the remains of their city walls, their eyes filled with a mixture of awe and cautious hope. Commander Elias, the leader of the human contingent, surveyed the horizon from the bridge of the flagship Aurora. His dark hair was cut short, his expression calm but focused. Around him, his officers coordinated landing operations, communications, and reconnaissance. Unlike the Zilari, who relied on sheer firepower and intimidation, the humans worked like a living machine, every action coordinated, every decision flexible, every effort designed to protect life as much as to defeat the enemy. "We need to understand their patterns first," Elias said to Lieutenant Mara, a sharp-eyed strategist. "The Zilari are strong, but predictable. They respond to aggression, but they struggle when we force them to adapt. Let's make them think." Mara nodded, her fingers dancing across the holographic display. "We can use their momentum against them, disrupt their formations, cut their supply lines, and create zones where they can't fight efficiently. The Virelians can help with local knowledge." Below in Solara, Counselor Lyria observed the human preparations with a mixture of relief and curiosity. For the first time in weeks, she could feel the faint pulse of hope within her chest. Humans were different from anything the Virelians had known. They were neither gods nor invincible warriors. They were clever, resourceful, and brave. They adapted to challenges quickly, turning weaknesses into strengths. And they treated Virelians as equals, not inferiors. The first meeting between humans and Virelian scientists was cautious. In a partially ruined laboratory, humans examined damaged energy shields and communication arrays, while Virelians explained how their systems worked. "You rely too much on static defense," said Lieutenant Mara, gesturing at a flickering shield generator. "You expect your enemies to hit the same point twice. They won't. If we combine your technology with adaptive nodes, the shield can change shape and coverage in real time." Dr. Nivor, a senior Virelian engineer, tilted his head thoughtfully. "You propose a flexible system, but our architecture is fixed. Reprogramming it will take weeks." Mara smiled faintly. "We don't have weeks. We'll show you how to do it in days. Humans are quick learners when we have to be." The collaboration began in earnest. Human engineers worked alongside Virelians, teaching them to modify existing technology. They installed adaptive energy nodes on shields, allowing them to move and bend, redirecting energy attacks from Zilari ships. Communication arrays were upgraded, enabling real-time coordination between cities and defensive outposts. Meanwhile, on the ground, human soldiers trained alongside Virelian volunteers. The Virelians had never wielded weapons in battle, but they were quick learners, fascinated by the humans' tactics. The humans emphasized strategy over brute force. They taught the Virelians how to use their cities' layouts to their advantage. Narrow streets became choke points, high-rise buildings became observation posts, and even natural features like cliffs and rivers were incorporated into defensive plans. Captain Rylon watched as a team of Virelian scouts and humans coordinated their movements, impressed by how quickly they adapted. "They understand us," he muttered to himself. "They respect what we know, but they show us how to go further." The first encounter with the Zilari after human arrival was cautious. Small teams of humans and Virelians moved to disrupt supply lines, targeting enemy transport vessels rather than engaging the main fleet. The humans used drones and decoys to confuse the Zilari, creating illusions of larger forces. The Virelians watched in amazement as humans combined intuition, technology, and improvisation. They had never seen such flexibility. In one daring operation, a team led by Commander Elias disabled a key energy relay, supplying several Zilari ships. The mission required precise timing and coordination. Humans and Virelians communicated constantly, their efforts synchronized across miles of battlefield. When the relay exploded in a controlled detonation, several Zilari ships were forced to retreat, their formation broken. "This is incredible," said Dr. Nivor, eyes wide with excitement. "We thought we were helpless, but with your methods, we can fight back." As the days passed, the humans and Virelians developed a rhythm. Humans taught the Virelians not just how to defend, but how to anticipate the enemy. They studied the auxiliaries' behavior, noting patterns in their attacks, weaknesses in their armor, and the predictable timing of their assaults. Every mission became a learning experience, every skirmish a lesson. In the capital city, civilians began to feel safer. children ventured out cautiously to see the strange, tall humans moving through the streets alongside Virelian defenders. Markets reopened in partially repaired districts, and for the first time in weeks, laughter returned, timid but real. Humans did not simply fight. They inspired. Their courage reminded the Virelians of the strength that came not from technology alone, but from ingenuity, collaboration, and belief in one another. One evening, Commander Elias walked through the streets of Solara, accompanied by Captain Rylon. The city was scarred, its buildings crumbling in places, but the energy of cooperation filled the air. Virelians were repairing structures, installing new shield nodes, and practicing defensive maneuvers with human guidance. "You have changed the way we see ourselves," Rylon said quietly. "We believed we were helpless, but you've shown us otherwise." "How? How can humans be so fearless?" Elias smiled. "We're not fearless. We're just stubborn, and we believe in helping others. When you combine knowledge, courage, and care for those around you, you can achieve things you never thought possible." Rylon considered this, watching a group of children play near a partially repaired fountain. The humans had brought more than tactics and machines, they had brought hope. The collaboration between humans and Virelians also led to unexpected innovations. By combining human adaptability with Virelian technology, they created mobile shield drones, devices that could move across the battlefield, protecting civilians and troops alike. Communication arrays allowed instant coordination across multiple sectors, something neither species could have done alone. The humans encouraged creative thinking, asking questions like, "What if we tried this?" Or "What happens if we combine these systems?" The results were astonishing. The Zilari began to notice the shift. Their attacks, once unchallenged, now faced intelligent resistance. Supply lines were disrupted, key ships disabled, and defenses reorganized in ways they could not anticipate. They adapted slowly, but the humans adapted faster. In one critical moment, a fleet of Zilari ships entered Solara's orbit, aiming to crush the city entirely. The humans quickly coordinated with Virelian engineers, creating a defensive strategy that used adaptive shields and decoy systems. Drones projected illusions of human and Virelian forces in multiple locations, drawing the enemy away from the real defensive points. As the Zilari approached, their sensors were overwhelmed, and they attacked shadows instead of real targets. The plan worked flawlessly. Zilari ships were forced to retreat. Their advance halted for the first time in weeks. The citizens of Solara cheered from their safe vantage points, realizing that humans had not only arrived, they had changed everything. Counselor Lyria met with Commander Elias later that evening in the council hall, the room filled with a soft blue glow from the remaining energy panels. "You have done more than fight," she said. "You have shown us that even in the darkest times, there is a way forward. The Virelians have learned courage from your example." Elias nodded. "You had it in you all along. We just reminded you. Courage and intelligence, combined, can turn the tide. You did the work with us, you just needed a spark." As night fell, the city of Solara shone with faint light, a beacon of resilience and unity. Humans and Virelians had proven that two very different species could work together to achieve what neither could alone, but the work was far from over. The Zilari remained a formidable threat, still controlling vast regions of the planet, still seeking to dominate and destroy. Yet now, the Virelians no longer felt hopeless. They had allies, strategies, and renewed confidence in their own abilities. They had begun to understand a new philosophy. That intelligence alone was not enough. Ingenuity, courage, and collaboration were equally vital. Commander Elias stood on a hill overlooking the city, his gaze fixed on the horizon. In the distance, Zilari ships moved like shadows against the sunrise. But now, humans and Virelians were ready. They had learned from each other, strengthened each other, and together, they would face whatever came next. The edge of despair was still near, but it no longer loomed as an insurmountable wall. With human ingenuity and Varelian wisdom combined, hope had returned to Varelia. And in that hope lay the promise of transformation, both for the planet and for the partnership between these two remarkable species. The stage was set. The final battles would require courage, creativity, and unity on a scale the galaxy had never seen. But for the first time in many long days, the Virelians believed victory was possible. The skies over Virelia were alive with movement. Human and Virelian ships patrolled the upper atmosphere, while adaptive drones glimmered in protective formations over key cities. The Zalari, relentless as ever, continued their assaults on outer sectors. But now they faced a coordinated defense they could not predict. The humans had transformed Virelian strategy into something dynamic, something alive. Commander Elias stood on the bridge of the Aurora, reviewing sensor readings. His sharp eyes tracked Xalari movements across the planet. He turned to Lieutenant Mara, who was monitoring communications between the Virelian cities. "They're reorganizing," he said. "They're trying to strike at multiple points at once, but they can't anticipate our responses. We have the advantage now." Mara nodded, her fingers flying over the holographic display. "We've strengthened the shields, deployed mobile units, and created decoy networks. They'll be forced to split their forces or retreat." Below them, the Virelian cities were bustling with activity. Engineers repaired structures, children ran freely through the streets, and citizens watched human and Virelian patrols with a sense of safety they hadn't felt in weeks. The humans had not only brought defense, they had brought confidence, teaching the Virelians that their own knowledge, combined with courage and creativity, could withstand even the most formidable foe. Counselor Lyria moved through Solara's council hall, observing the collaborative effort firsthand. Virelian engineers worked alongside human officers, discussing adaptive energy nodes, mobile shield units, and communication improvements. Even the youngest Virelians were involved, learning how to coordinate sensors, drones, and small defensive craft. "This is more than protection," Lyria said quietly to Captain Rylon, who accompanied her. "It's transformation. Our people are learning courage, problem-solving, and unity in a way we never thought possible." Rylon nodded. "Humans have shown us what we can achieve when we work together. We've never needed to fight like this before, but now we understand the strength that comes from combining wisdom and action." The Xalari, sensing that their momentum had been broken, launched a massive coordinated assault on the northern city of Lysara. Their ships blotted out the sky, their weapons charged and ready. But this time, humans and Virelians were prepared. Commander Elias organized the defense with precision. Mobile shield drones moved into formation, creating layers of protection across the city. Decoy drones projected illusions of forces in multiple locations, confusing the Zalari sensors. Virelian engineers had modified their energy arrays to send short pulses that disrupted enemy targeting systems. Humans and Virelians communicated constantly, their coordination seamless. On the ground, human squads and Virelian volunteers worked together to protect civilians. They guided families into secure zones while coordinating small teams to neutralize Zalari landing units before they could reach the streets. The Virelians moved with a confidence they had never felt before. They were no longer passive observers. They were active participants in defending their world. As the first wave of Zalari ships approached the city, the humans executed a daring plan. Drones released concentrated bursts of energy to disable key weapons on enemy ships, while adaptive shields bent and redirected energy attacks away from civilian areas. Xalari pilots, unaccustomed to this level of unpredictability, were thrown into confusion. Their attacks became chaotic, uncoordinated, and ultimately ineffective. In the skies above, the humans demonstrated ingenuity in real time. Smaller craft darted between enemy ships, disrupting their formations and creating openings for Virelian artillery. The combination of human improvisation and Virelian technology proved unstoppable. Captain Rylon, watching from a command post in Lysara, felt a surge of pride. "They are incredible," he said. "Not just humans. Our people too. Look at how they move together. This is what hope looks like." By midday, the Zalari were in full retreat. Their fleet, once unstoppable, was broken. Key ships had been disabled, and the morale of their forces faltered under the combined ingenuity of humans and Virelians. The northern city was safe, and for the first time in weeks, the citizens cheered openly. Children waved at human pilots flying overhead, and families emerged from shelters, eyes wide with amazement at the sight of victory. Commander Elias and Counselor Lyria met in the city's central plaza later that day. The sun reflected off partially repaired buildings, casting golden light across the crowd. Lyria looked around, her expression a mixture of relief and wonder. "You have not only defended us," she said, her voice steady but emotional. "You have taught us how to believe in ourselves. We thought hope was gone, but you have shown us that we can rise even in the darkest times." Elias smiled. "We did not teach you anything you didn't already have inside. You were capable all along. We just helped you see it. I helped you put it into action." In the days that followed, the partnership between humans and Virelians grew even stronger. The Virelians adapted human strategies to their own unique capabilities, creating defenses and technologies that neither species could have developed alone. New mobile shield drones were deployed, communication arrays spanned entire cities, and advanced sensors monitored the skies for any remaining threats. Human engineers and Virelians also worked together to restore essential services. Energy grids were repaired, transportation systems reinstated, and water purification units restored. Cities that had been dark and silent for weeks were once again alive with the sounds of life. But beyond the technology and strategy, the greatest change was in the hearts of the people. Virelians, once cautious and hesitant, now moved with courage and purpose. They had learned to trust themselves, to think creatively, and to take initiative. Children trained with human volunteers, learning the principles of strategy and problem-solving, ensuring that the lessons of these days would last for generations. In a special ceremony in the capital city of Solara, humans and Virelians came together to commemorate their joint victories. Flags representing both species were raised side by side, and the citizens cheered for the alliance that had saved their world. Commander Elias spoke to the gathered crowd. "Today, we celebrate not just victory, but unity. Humans and Virelians, two very different species, have proven that courage, intelligence, and collaboration can overcome even the greatest challenges. Let this be a lesson for the galaxy. No matter how dark the moment may seem, hope, determination, and cooperation can change everything." Counselor Lyria added, her voice filled with pride. "We have learned that strength is not only in technology or numbers, but in creativity, in courage, and in working together. Today, Virelia is stronger than ever, and our future is bright because we did not face it alone." As the ceremony concluded, Elias and Lyria stood together, watching the city below. The people danced and sang, celebrating their survival and newfound unity. The scars of the conflict remained, but they were no longer symbols of despair. They were reminders of resilience and growth. Over the following weeks, the humans prepared to depart. Their mission had been successful. Virelia was safe, its people empowered, and the Zalari threat neutralized in the regions they could defend. Yet, as they prepared to leave, the bond between the two species was clear. Humans and Virelians had learned from each other, created new technologies, and formed a partnership that would endure. Commander Elias addressed Counselor Lyria one last time before departure. "We must leave. But remember this. You are capable of incredible things. Protect your world. Continue to innovate, and trust yourselves. You have everything you need to face the challenges ahead." Lyria nodded, her eyes reflecting gratitude and pride. "We will not forget. Your arrival changed everything. Virelia will continue to grow, and your example will guide us for generations." The human fleet rose into the sky, their ships glinting in the sunlight, moving with the same precision and grace that had first inspired the Virelians. As they left, the citizens of Virelia waved, not with fear or sorrow, but with admiration and hope. The humans had come when all seemed lost, and now they carried the promise of courage, ingenuity, and unity to the stars. With the humans gone, the Virelians turned their attention to rebuilding and transforming their society. The lessons learned from the humans were integrated into education, engineering, and governance. Adaptive strategies, creative problem-solving, and collaboration became central to their culture. A new era of exploration and discovery began. One in which the Virelians no longer feared the unknown but approached it with confidence and curiosity. And so, the planet Virelia, once on the brink of despair, had been transformed. The arrival of humans had not only saved lives but had inspired a civilization to reach new heights. The Virelians had learned that hope could be restored even in the darkest times, that courage could flourish when shared, and that unity could overcome the greatest challenges. In the hearts of the Virelians, the memory of those days would live forever. The days when strangers from distant stars arrived, not as conquerors, but as allies. The days when despair turned to hope, and when courage, creativity, and collaboration changed everything. The edge of despair had passed. Virelia's future was bright. A shining example in the galaxy of what could be achieved when different minds worked together, when bravery and ingenuity were combined, and when hope was never lost, no matter how dark the moment seemed. And somewhere, beyond the stars, the humans continued their journey, carrying with them the knowledge that even in the vastness of the galaxy, acts of courage and unity could leave a lasting mark, transforming not only worlds but hearts as well.